I believe in death. I believe in disease. I believe in injustice and inhumanity and torture and anger and hate. And in every crawling, putrid thing, every possible ugliness and corruption, you son of a bitch! I believe!
The Exorcist 1 and 3. I kept wanting to say 1 and 2, but let's go back in time to 1973. The Exorcist. This movie, for me, first time watching this, this movie was kind of nuts for thinking about the time period that it came out. I was like, holy crap, how did they do something?
Yeah, it's insane.
I felt like it didn't even have that big of a budget. I don't know how true that is, but it just felt like one of those movies that's like, all right.
I feel like for the time, it had a relatively big budget for like that genre. It wasn't huge though.
I mean, it felt like it was a movie that like, all right, we're gonna like stretch out this money as much as possible type thing. We're gonna do as much as we can with a small budget, and like it works. Like the effects in it still hold up. I mean, they don't look
definitely.
They don't look bad, but they don't look like a modern movie either. So I mean, but that's not what they were going for.
what I think is what makes the movie great is that it's all filmed to look like it's a documentary.
Yeah,
like it all just feels like this is just happening in real life. Like there's nothing super exaggerated. It's all just like, oh, there's a girl in a room and she's just like a demon. All right,
she's a demon, or she's got a demon in her.
Yeah, it's just treated like with such like a real kind of tone to it. It's cool.
It is cool. Did you even hear what the director said the reason he made this movie was? If you heard about
I've heard of a lot of what William Friedkin has said about the movie. I don't know if I've heard that.
Well, it wasn't the director, it was the studio, why they like greenlit it or whatever.
No.
They wanted to scare people back into churches. That was the goal of the movie.
Wow. Okay.
So
that worked.
I'm sure it did. I'm sure people are like, all right, let's go pray some more, you know.
Especially in the 70s. Like, yeah, that worked.
I do have some notes, but they're not like important notes. They're kind of goofy notes that I found throughout the movie. So I'll do those at the end after we talk about the movie itself. I was a little like, I thought I was in Indiana Jones at the beginning of the movie. I was like, wait, why are we doing this dig in the desert and stuff? I didn't know what was going on with that at first. And I didn't know really till the end. I was like, wait, oh, that's the same guy. Okay,
yeah, there's like a big gap in between.
Yeah. I was like, I get it. I understand. I get it now. I was a little confused at that. How did she get the demon? Was it the Ouija board? I didn't put that together.
It's never outright said. It's implied that might be why.
I'm guessing it's that.
It's never said outright, but
I do like the play of this actually might be a mental disorder thing, because the holy water, I like that aspect of the movie. I think it was actually a demon. Based off the third one.
Yeah, there's a point. Well, not even with the third one, but there's a point in the movie where it's like, oh, yeah, this is a demon.
Well, yeah, but I thought it was funny.
She's doing things that like a human being can't do.
I thought it was funny when the priest guy, he was like throwing the holy water on her, and she just goes and he goes later on. He goes, it was just tap water, like it wasn't even holy water. The cat. I don't know any of these people's names, by the way, because this movie's from the '70s. I thought the cast did pretty well.
Pretty much all of their names.
Do you really? My favorite.
Most of them, yeah.
My favorite is the little girl, honestly. She does a phenomenal job at being a creepy little girl.
She's fantastic.
She is. And I think the priest guy, he does a pretty good job, and the mom does a pretty good job. The Karras, is that his name?
Father Karras.
Father Karras.
His first movie, by the way.
Is it really? I liked him. He did a good job. Who was the other girl in the house? I thought at first it was like another daughter, but I think it was
that's her like assistant.
Her assistant, gotcha. Because I know she had like a butler, the butler.
Yeah, she had a butler, then that was like her assistant. She might be like her production assistant or something because she was an actor.
Gotcha. At first I was like, oh, she's got two daughters. I was like, oh wait, no, she doesn't seem like she's a daughter type thing. So this movie does take a minute to kickstart, I will admit, but it's slow. It's a good build up, especially for when stuff actually starts happening. You're like, yeah, I'm getting into this. Feel this. I like it. What are aspects that you like that I haven't mentioned yet?
I mean, the whole fucking movie.
The score is also great. I didn't mention the score.
The score is great. It's there's not a whole lot of it.
There's not. They play it like in the beginning and the end, and that's about it. Honestly.
Yeah,
a
lot of it
the
is
main
just
score.
Yeah, a lot of it is just hey, and that's what I love about the climax of the movie is that there's no music, and it's just all this horrible stuff happening, and there's no like fanfare to it. It's just hey, this is happening.
This spooky stuff is happening. I will say that guy does look like a boxer. I did enjoy that line of he looks like a he kind of looks like Rocky Balboa when he's like running on the track and the detective guy.
Bit, yeah.
What's up with the detective guy's glasses? What's up with that? He's got like half glasses.
That's a type of glasses.
That's weird. I don't like it.
I think those are like reading glasses to where you can just like those are ones you can have like on the edge of your face, so you like look down at them. I don't think they're like meant to be fully on your face.
It just looks weird. Just wear
it does look weird.
This is definitely a 70s movie. I could tell like just from the hairstyles. If you didn't tell me this was a 70s movie, I would be like this is set in the 70s. If it's
definitely.
not a 70s movie.
Definitely, yeah.
People's hairstyles, people's clothing, just, you can tell. Very 70s.
At the same time, while you can tell it's a 70s movie, it doesn't feel dated at all.
No, it doesn't.
It still totally works.
This feels like a movie that may have been made in the 90s that's just set in the 70s. That's honestly what it kind of feels like.
Yeah.
The makeup looked pretty good. I mean, it probably would have looked even grosser nowadays because I'm sure they didn't have the amount of stuff.
That's the thing though. Nowadays, it would all be CG, and it would be
I don't know.
annoying.
If you look at like the Walking Dead type stuff, like they do makeup still, and that stuff looks pretty good. So there are still makeup people out there that do good job.
Maybe.
I do think she did look disgusting when she's like all like ripped up and
she's like rotting.
Yeah, it's nasty. It's gross. How did she live after the demon was at her? I don't know.
I have no idea. She was probably on the brink of death.
Is it true though that like they disbanded like exorcisms? I thought that was like a thing that like they still
before and that's what kind of the big deal about this movie is that like before this movie it was kind of just like this like we don't really do that anymore, like now that we
kind of like a taboo subject
and stuff. Yeah, it's kind of like a taboo thing. They don't really do that anymore, like unless it's super rare, like a super special case, then we'll get some fucking exorcist. But after this movie, and they talked about it in the behind the scenes thing, like after the movie, everyone was like, can you exorcise like my cat please? And like it just came back like in full force because this movie scared the shit out of everybody.
I can only imagine seeing this in the 70s, like walking out after seeing
it. Was when it came out, it was hailed as the scariest film of all time,
and I can see why.
And it had the infamous re-release in 2000 where they showed it and the entire audience laughed through the whole movie.
They laughed?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, from a scary standpoint, it wasn't like super scary. Like, but in terms of like a gross and like realistic standpoint, like
it's sort of to me it's like The Shining, where it's like I don't get scared by The Shining, but I get creeped out.
Yeah.
That's kind of how
it feels realistic enough where you're like, this is kind of creepy. And like when she like sits up and her head like turns 180, it's like even
though when she turns her head around, she should be dead.
Yeah, but like the demon keeps her alive or whatever.
Her neck would have been broken.
Also, is it an actual demon or is it the devil? Because it says it's the devil, but then later on they're like, oh, it's just a demon.
In the sequel, in Exorcist II, they establish it's a demon.
It's a demon.
It's just like it's Pazuzu, but that's the
also,
name.
I'm glad they never like showed like a weird person dressed up as a demon like coming out of her or whatever. I thought that's what was gonna happen.
Yeah, that would.
I thought they were gonna be like, "Oh shit, it's out of her," and then like there's a dude in like a demon costume. I'm like, oh, don't do that. I don't know how did they do like the breath effect? Did they literally just chill a room to that cold?
They refrigerated the set.
That's insane.
To like below zero, and on the documentary they talk about it where every time they turn the lights on, it would heat the room up again, so they'd have to stop every like 2 hours and refrigerate it again to get it back down below zero.
You know how expensive that'd be to refrigerate a room?
It was
that cold?
Dude, I think they said it took 60 days to shoot just on that set.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And like William Friedkin is an insane person.
Also, another thing. I know this is the 70s. But at the point where they're like the mom is yelling to the doctors like about like what's wrong with my child or whatever, and there's like 80 doctors in the room. I'm like, how does the media not said anything about this? I know it's
because I think
70s.
that she herself is trying to like keep it under wrap. I don't think she wants it to
Still.
get out. She's kind of keeping it. At
I feel
bay
like
and under-
some doctor would have leaked it. But like, yeah, there's this crazy kid. It's just
leaked
like,
it with what? It's the
levitating.
70s.
Just in the newspaper.
Nobody
Just
would have
like,
believed that.
I would have believed that if I saw that in the 70s.
Well, you're not in the 70s.
The cop guy was kind of a dick. I saw in the middle of the movie. It was a random scene where they're drinking coffee, the mom and the cop. And the mom's like, "Do you want more coffee?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll take some more coffee." And then he takes the coffee and he just puts it on the table and leaves. Like, he doesn't
Yeah.
drink it.
He also asks for an autograph too, and it's like she's distraught from her daughter turning into a demon. Like, could you just not?
And I'm just like, this guy's kind of a douchebag. This is from a production standpoint because I know this is probably the best they could do. But she looks like she vomits Nickelodeon slime to me.
It's time for slime.
Keenan Thompson hosts the Kids' Choice Awards, Saturday, March 13th, everywhere you find Nickelodeon.
Yeah, it's a split pea soup.
Ew. It looks like Nickelodeon slime. It doesn't look like puke.
Very. It's very thick and like frothy. I
It's
think
very
that works.
green.
I think that works. It's just this like big chunk of shit. I think it
Yeah.
works.
And then my last thing is, how did the language experts just immediately know that was English in reverse? Like,
These are language experts.
but like, do they just know that? But like, Spanish in reverse, I know.
I'm
that
sure he
off the
picked
top
up a
of my
couple words or a couple letters and was like, "Yeah, this sounds like it's just English in reverse."
head. Fair, I guess.
He's
But,
a
like,
language expert. I don't know how language experts do their shit.
I don't know. I feel like if I was a language expert, I'd be like, yeah, I don't know what this
I
is.
don't know what the fuck this is.
I wouldn't immediately go like, oh yeah, it's just English. It's in reverse.
It would have been funny if he was like, "Oh, it's just English in reverse," and he plays it in reverse, and he's like, "Oh no, I was wrong. I don't know what the fuck this is. That's a demon."
Oh yeah, it's demon language. I don't know what that is. But I do like a lot of. That was only my little nitpick things that I just picked up in the
That's
movie. I had to find something to nitpick about it. It's from the 70s. I'm sure there's some sort of mistakes in it. Do you have any nitpicks that you?
I mean, not a lot. This is one of the few movies that I would describe as like this is like a perfect film.
A perfect film.
Like there's like little to nothing wrong with it.
It does a good job of creeping people out. I do like how he like tries to taunt the demon. He's like, "All right, if you're a real demon, like just break out of the handcuffs or whatever." And the demon's like, "In due time," and he's like, "No, do it right now." You
Do it now, you fucking poser.
And like the whole time, basically the whole time, I was just trying to figure out. I was like, "Is it an actual demon or is it like mental illness?" Like,
Yeah, that's what I like about it is that it and that's kind of why I prefer the theatrical version over the director's cut. The director's cut isn't terrible. It's largely the same thing, but the director's cut is a little bit more literal with things where they kind of just like, "Oh, this is what the movie's about." The theatrical cut is kind of a little bit more up to interpretation a little bit, where it's like, is she actually a demon?
yeah.
Like, what is it? Like, it's a little bit more open to interpretation. I like that more.
I do too. I like how he just taunts the demon basically the whole time until the exorcism.
He does
happens.
not. Father Karras does not give a fuck about anything in his life. There's one shot of him sitting on a couch, and that just like embodies how I feel most of the time. Where he's just like, I'm just tired. Like I'm just over all this shit.
Yeah. He's just like when the drawer pops open, he's like, "Was that you?"
He's like, "Did you do that? Like, can you just stop?"
Can you not? I don't know what I would do in that situation, like in real life, if I was him, just being like, "All right, there's a demon child in front of me. Like, what
He
happened?
doesn't
What
believe
should
it's
I
a demon.
He does like try to beat the crap out of it.
At the end, yeah, because at the end he's like, "Oh shit, no, this is a demon. I want to punch the fuck out of this motherfucker."
Like in his brain, in the back of his head, he's like, "This is a little girl." Also, like, should I not do
Yes,
this?
he immediately dives for a little girl and starts choking her. Like, I understand it's a demon, but it's in a little girl.
Right. Nah, I was very curious. I'm like, how are they gonna end this movie? Like, are they just gonna like do the exorcism and it just disappears? And I was quite surprised when he just jumps out the window. Just kills himself. I was like, oh, okay.
Or did the demon make him do that?
I don't know which it was, but I was very George Lucas. I was like,
It's very much, and
poetic.
that's what the writer was worried about. That's why he wanted all the extra stuff put in the director's cut, was that he was worried that people would think that evil won. And it's like, when you look at the movie, it's not like, it's very clear that he did that. Like, it's very clear that he jumped out of the fucking window.
You can make the argument that the demon did it. I
could.
can see the argument. Also, the other priest that shows up at the end, was he earlier in the movie? Because I don't remember him in the early.
Yeah, he was at the party.
Oh, okay.
That Chris threw. He's got a very small part.
I was gonna say,
he
I thought
a
he
real
was
priest
just
also.
Oh, that's cool. I just thought he just showed up. I was like, who's this guy?
And that scene at the end when he's giving Father Karras his last rites, that moment when his hand's shaking.
Mhm.
He said in the documentary that wasn't acting. William Friedkin just slapped him across the face, and that was like nerves. That was just him just being like, all right, fuck.
There's not much to critique about this movie, though. Honestly.
Not really. All the effects in the movie are in camera. They're all real, and they're fucking awesome.
I mean, they kind of had to. There was no visual, like digital effects back then.
You could still mat him in. You
Yeah.
could still like figure out a way, and that's what William Friedkin said he didn't want to do. He wanted like the only way for this movie to work is if we just have to like we have to just do it.
But yeah, I give the Oscar to the little girl. Props to the little girl. I don't know her name.
Yeah, she was great. Linda Blair.
But
she was great. And Max von Sydow, who played Father Marin.
Is he the older guy that died?
He's the older guy. That he's not actually that old, or at least at the time he wasn't. He was in his like 40s.
Oh, they makeup.
They put makeup on him, yeah.
Oh, that looked.
And what's funny is that's just kind of how he looked as he got older. Like he just looked like that. So
the production design, they knew what they were doing. They're like,
yeah, they were brilliant. They saw into the future.
Yeah, that looked. I didn't even know. So that props to the makeup department because I couldn't even tell. I do have more critiques in the third one, honestly.
Okay. Third, I definitely want to know your thoughts on the third one. The first one, I wasn't worried about you like liking it. I had a feeling you'd probably like it. The third one is the one where I was like, this is gonna be interesting.
My thoughts, like I just watched it like a couple hours ago. My thoughts, like initially, I was like, this is like interesting. Like there's a story here. Like it feels like a sequel. Like it's not just like, oh, let's just do it again. Like no, this feels like
it's the cop character from the first one.
Yeah, it feels like a continuation.
Yeah,
it feels like a continuation. But I feel like the ending was not very good.
Fortified tower in the face of the enemy.
Sworn enemy of all the human race.
That's where we disagree. I think the ending is so weird.
I was just like, yeah, just whatever. Like they kill the guy and that's it. I'm just like, just they didn't do it for me for some reason. I don't know why. I just didn't.
Oh man, that ending is so over the top and weird.
Dude, there's one point where I
amazing.
busted out laughing. Like I legit did.
When?
It's when the cop detective, when he goes back to his house and like the old lady's getting ready to chop the girl's neck or whatever, and then it cuts back quickly and the priest guy just walks out of the like into the room and it like does a close-up pan on his face and then there's a close-up pan on the demon. I'm just like,
yeah, fucking hey, that's like an action movie.
I just laughed. I was like, oh, the hero's here. He's ready to go.
Hell yeah. And he was only in one other scene prior that had nothing to do with
and I was just like, I was like, I totally forgot this guy was in the movie.
Because that was reshoots. The entire ending of the movie was reshot.
Really? What was the original ending?
The original was Kinderman just shows up to the Gemini killer and he just shoots him and then the movie ends.
Yeah, that would have been even worse. I would have liked that even more.
He just shows up and he shoots him and then it's over.
I mean, there are stuff I liked about the end. There wasn't
the ending logically doesn't make any fucking sense, but I love how just weird and like visual it is, and it's just over the top and it's nuts.
I do like how most of the movie's kind of like a murder mystery, like oh, who did it?
It's like a crime drama.
Yeah, it is. And there was one scene where I'm like, oh, that's creepy. That creeped me out. It was when the old lady was like on the ceiling.
That's like, terrifying.
Because I didn't expect it. Like it just came out of nowhere. I was just like, oh,
very terrifying.
It's an old lady just being weird. I did think the cop, he spoke like in the beginning, he was like very poetic in his speaking. I don't know if that was on purpose or like he just felt intense.
What do you mean poetic?
I don't know. He just felt like intense and like the way he spoke was like.
He's been around, all right. He's seen some shit.
I'm not saying it was a bad thing. I'm just saying like he knew how to like convey whatever was going on, and I was like, he knows how to speak. I don't know how to speak. We're calling back to that from earlier, but
Yeah,
He knows how to speak. I did like the cop. He was
he's very good.
he became more interesting as the movie went on for me. Was that wasn't the same actor that played?
No,
the
he
priest.
was recast.
For the priest. Wasn't the same guy.
No, both Kinderman and Dyer were recast.
That guy looks dead up like Father Karras in some lighting. He looks dead. I thought it was the same.
Father
person.
Karras in this movie is the same actor though.
Oh, that's what I was talking about. Him.
Oh, you're talking about. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's
okay. So that I was gonna say that guy looks dead up. The cop did not look dead up.
The cop and his priest friend were recast from
Father Dreyer or whatever.
Yeah, Father Dyer. Yeah.
Oh, Dyer. I said Dreyer. Also, they had that weird friendship that like seems like a real friendship. They kind of like just bicker at each other about random shit.
Yeah, that feels like two old men just being like,
yeah,
we're gonna die soon. Like I don't give a shit.
Like when they're having when the cop's talking about the carp in his bathtub, I'm just like, this is such.
Weird... I love that little piece of dialogue.
My wife's mother is visiting, Father. And Tuesday night she's cooking us a carp. It's a tasty fish. I have nothing against it. But because it's supposedly filled with impurities, she buys it live. And for 3 days it's been swimming up and down in my bathtub. Up and down.
My wife brought in a carp and it's been swimming around my bathtub for 2 days. Can't take a fucking shower. He's just so like annoyed by this stupid little fish in his bathtub.
I thought it was gonna come back.
What's funny? It's a nice little like piece of acting is that Father Dyer starts laughing like during that, and it just felt like a real thing.
It felt like it was gonna come back later in the movie, but it never did. I was like, huh, no. This is a weird thing they threw in there. It is fun. It's weird. But yeah, there wasn't as much religious things in this. It was more about the cop, detective-wise, than it was about the religious stuff comes in towards the end. And he goes and talks to a couple priests or whatever. They're not as taboo about the exorcism this time around. I guess because of what happened in that universe 15 years prior. So
yeah, there's exorcisms happening all the time.
They're exercising the trees, the grass, man. No more demons. Get the spirits out of here. This is one of my notes I had written down. How did the cop not notice the freaking statue in the hospital when it was missing the head? How did he not notice that? Or did he notice it and just ignore it?
He might have noticed it, but maybe just didn't draw any significance to it at the time. But
like he knew that the little boy, he got his head chopped off and replaced with the statue.
I that's a weird thing to jump to. Like if you were in that situation, you wouldn't go, "Oh, okay, that's how that connects." You just be like, "That's a weird coincidence."
No, I would be like, "No, that's where the head came from."
Well, we all know that Devin's a brilliant detective, all right?
I am, dude. I should have been Batman. When they kill the priest guy, Father Dyer. See, look, this is what we were talking about earlier. When they kill Father Dyer,
putting an R in a place that it doesn't need to be.
He looks like a dryer, all right? He looks like a dryer.
What?
The laundry machine, the dryer.
That's offensive.
Anyways, when they kill that guy, and they're like, "What's all these cups?" And they're like, "It's just blood."
Yeah, that's so terrifying.
It's all his blood.
And they point out that it's every drop. Like there was not one drop like spilled.
Yeah, and I was
it's all of his blood just put into these little like Dixie cups.
In my head, I was like ruining the scene for myself because I was like, "There's no way that's all of his blood. Like, there's not enough cups there."
No, realistically, no. There'd be a million.
But like, they couldn't put like gallon drums in there to just be like, yeah. But I was ruining the scene for myself because like, I was like, "Yeah, there's not enough blood there."
There's like 20 Dixie cups there.
Like, yeah, there's not enough. Wait, is the Gemini Man? Is that a reference to the Zodiac Killer? Because it felt like it was a reference.
I think so. The Gemini Killer, I think, was a reference to that.
Because it very much felt like it. Because they talked about the copycats and sending notes to the press and all that stuff. So
yeah, I think that was supposed to be a reference to that.
I was wondering who that one guy was in the cell though. I was like, who is this guy? He's in the like solitary cell or whatever. He looked like he was in prison, but he's in a hospital. But then when the cop walked in and he was like, he like walked out and they didn't show his face. I was like, who the hell is this guy?
Who the fuck is that?
I thought he saw the demon. Like he went in there and the demon was in there.
Nope.
But no, it was Father Karras or whatever. whatever. I do think the story it feels like a continuation. The story does. It feels like
it does. I think but what's great is that it works as both a sequel, but it also works as just its own thing. Like
it does.
Just watch on its own.
It does. I don't know how much you would like if I watched this and not watch the first one. I don't know how much I would understand. Like, I feel like I
feel like it would totally work on its own.
Like it would. Like I would understand, but like I don't know how much it would like resonate as much. I don't know. Who would watch the third one and not watch the first one? That's
a fair point. But you could if you wanted.
I guess, yeah. I mean, people are doing that with the Marvel movies, just jumping in. Like, oh, watch Infinity War. I've never seen any of the Marvel movies.
That's
okay.
a horrible mistake. But,
is there things that you don't like about this movie, or is this another?
I mean, it's not like the first movie where I think it's like near perfect. It's definitely flawed, and I definitely like we talked about earlier. The ending doesn't make any goddamn sense, and a lot of the reshoots that they did put in they don't make sense. I like them because they're weird and they're just like over the top and fucking nuts. I really, really like this movie. I don't think I love it as much as the first one though.
It's definitely not on par with the first one for me personally.
No, I would agree with that.
But it's not a bad movie. I just didn't like the ending.
No, it's a really entertaining movie.
It is. It's an entertaining movie, and I don't think how some movies, if you have a bad ending, it ruins it for you. I don't think this ending ruined it for me. It just didn't feel like enough of an ending.
How would you have ended it?
I don't know, but I feel like just shooting the guy just wasn't enough. Just like
what would you want? Do you want him to have like a demon fight in hell? Like
no, I don't know. I'm not a filmmaker, so I can't say how I would.
I don't know. I think shooting him works. And it definitely works better in the theatrical ending than the director's cut ending where he just walks in and just you're dead. I think it works more in the over exaggerated like, oh, kill me now, show me, and then that's like a climax. That's an entertaining climax to a movie. But yeah, there's a lot of the movie that is just really weird nonsense.
The best part was when he like levitated the first priest. I don't know who he is, but he levitated him, put him on the ceiling, and then his skin starts melting to the ceiling. I was like,
yeah, he's like stuck on the ceiling. That was dope.
I was like, oh, that's
dope.
Nasty. Another note I had: what a time to be able to smoke in a hospital as a doctor. I'm just saying, as a doctor, it was a different time.
Yeah.
But, wait, for one, what was up with So the doctor was in on it, right? The doctor.
Well, are you talking about the old lady nurse or
no, the smoking, the male doctor. Smoking.
Oh, I see. That's the thing. I don't know if he's in on it. I think the demon had like control of him or something. I don't know if he was like doing it on his own. I think the demon like took him over and was like, "Hey, I'm gonna make you do some shit."
Because see, when he said he was like, "Oh, I was gonna do horrible things to you," and that's how I got the doctor to like do stuff for me. I'm like, if I was a doctor, I'd be like, I ain't doing shit for you. You're locked in this cell. Like, you ain't gonna do nothing.
Well, I mean, I only say that because we saw the demon take control of other people, so I just assume that he probably possessed him at some point and made him do some shit.
Because but then again, I saw him like rehearsing his lines or whatever on that note. I'm just like, well, if it was the demon, like, would he need to rehearse his lines?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That's a good point.
I don't know if he was in on it or not. I kind of liked him though. I don't know why. Just he was kind of like the cool doctor. He was not because he was smoking. Don't smoke, kids.
Smoking's dope.
Smoking's not dope. It'll kill you.
It'll
kill you like that doctor. Don't smoke dope.
You can't. You can do whatever you want.
I mean, you can do what you want, but I'm putting a PSA out.
I'm not going to tell anybody what to do.
Don't do it because we said to do it. You can't sue us.
Do it because no, don't smoke dope because we told you to do it. Smoke dope because you want to.
Did you watch this with ads on Prime for free, or did
I watched it on Tubi a long time ago, and there were ads on Tubi.
Oh. So I watched this on Prime, and I had to watch it for free. You had to watch ads, and there was like 4 ads in the movie, so it wasn't that bad. This has nothing to do with the movie. I just thought it was hilarious. There was a Domino's commercial in there in the middle of this movie, right? It was like this old lady, and she had like the box, the pizza box, and she opens it, she goes, "Oh my goodness!" And then the commercial ends, and I'm like, "Wait,
what?
What did you expect to be?
What was in the box?"
Nothing. I'm guessing pizza. They didn't show.
They didn't show what was in the box.
No, I'm assuming it was pizza because they were talking about like, oh, look at all the great deals and all this stuff, and then like somebody brings
that doesn't make me want pizza.
Somebody brings an old lady a pizza, and she's like, "Oh my goodness!" And I'm like,
"She never seen a pizza before?"
But what did you expect to
Was
be
it
in the?
was it like a Halloween commercial, or was it just
No,
a
it
normal?
was just a Domino's commercial.
Because I thought it was gonna be like a Halloween thing where somebody like gave her like a spooky pizza. That's a
just a
dumb
regular
commercial.
old Domino's commercial.
That's why nobody eats at Domino's.
Anyways, my last note, and this is also just a nitpick from this movie. When the cop is going to talk to the main priest, I guess the head honcho guy, and he's trying to figure out the connection between all the murders and all that. The cop guy like hears like the door like closing or whatever, and he gets up and just walks out. The priest doesn't even say nothing. He's just whatever. He's going to go look at something. And I was just like, what is this priest like want to die? Like he seems depressed. Like what's wrong with him?
It's totally possible.
He's talking about giving scholarship to kids, and I'm like, is he like one of the
That's see that's one of the things where it's like there's just like small stuff that just kind of doesn't make sense that I would have changed. There's nothing like huge about the movie or like
I would have
major
kept
issues.
honestly, yeah, I would have kept the story the same because the story works in my opinion. It works really well, and I just would have changed the ending. I don't know how I would have changed it, but I would have changed
I like
it.
the ending. I would have made the ending made a little bit more sense.
I don't think shooting the guy was enough for me to just be like, oh yeah.
I think that works. I think that works for the rest of the tone of the movie. It's a cop drama.
I guess, but like he just shoots him. I'm just like, all right.
What?
Does that kill a demon though? I don't feel like that kills a demon. Like
he wasn't the demon at that point. He broke free temporarily.
I know.
When he was like, shoot me now, and then he shoots him.
But I feel like that's like one of those things where like, oh, the demon will just jump into the next person.
He probably will. I don't think the demon's dead unless the priest exorcised them.
He has holy bullets.
Fuck, he might have holy bullets. Turns into From Dusk Till Dawn.
The guy's melting on the ground. He's like, quickly bless my bullets.
I don't think that's how that works, but hey, the rest of the ending was nonsense, so I would have been totally cool with that.
How do you like bless water to make it holy?
You bless it. You do it.
So like, could he not just do that with the bullets? Just be like, yeah.
I don't think that works with bullets.
So it has to
try it.
It can't be something to use for murder. So like, I can't bless a knife and be like, all right, I'm gonna go.
No, I don't think you. I mean, you probably could. You could try it.
But what if I used?
What would that do though? I don't think that would make a difference. It's a knife.
What if I blessed holy water? Why would I bless holy water? What if I blessed water and then used it to drown somebody? Is that like a sin? Like I used holy water to kill somebody?
Probably, yeah.
I mean, it's a sin because I murdered somebody. You know?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I forgot to mention when I thought it was kind of weird when they were doing the confession thing, and then like was it an old lady that just like
I don't know what that was. That was creepy as shit.
Because like. If the guy Father Karras had the demon in him, how did he get the old lady to walk?
No, again, that was the demon popping in and out of people.
I know, but how did he like get that person, whoever that person was?
I don't know. That could have been that old grandma.
Oh, the grandma on the ceiling?
No, the one at the end who goes to
grandma.
Kinderman's house. It could have been her. It could have been another old grandma.
The giant scissors, the shears.
Yeah, who knows?
That chick looked dead to me from that perspective on the screen.
She was horrifying.
I was because like it came like that close to like just closing on it. How did she not notice? That I didn't even.
She was busy she was reading her book. She was studying.
Still, you're looking down. You like perspective. Like you see some giant scissors coming.
She's invested in the studying. All right, she cares about her education. And I like that. I like that moment when like it's all dramatic and Kinderman's like he's in the police car and the police car comes up dramatically to his house and he gets out and he's like, Fruh. He holds his gun out and he opens the door and his daughter's there and she's like, oh hey,
Dad.
Yeah, and he's just like. All right, shit. I guess there's nothing wrong.
And then they're like, "Who's the nurse?" And he's like, "What nurse?" And it does that
what?
That silly zoom on just.
I don't know. I think that works.
The movie works. The movie works. Like I like the movie as a whole. I just didn't like the ending as much.
How did you feel about that weird dream sequence, like in the middle of the movie with all the angels and stuff?
Oh, I was like, did he die? I was like, what happened?
That's a little ambiguous on what that actually is.
And it kind of like foretold the future, I guess, because it had the father guy. He had his like neck sewn together, and he hadn't died yet in the movie. So, and
there's some really interesting cameos in that scene. There's Patrick Ewing is one of the one of the angels in that. Yeah, he's the main black dude that they focus on in that. He's got wings and everything.
I didn't even.
There's like a dedicated shot to him. That's Patrick Ewing.
I mean, I thought he looked familiar, but he didn't look like Patrick Ewing. Wait,
Patrick Ewing.
He didn't have his mustache, did he? He shaved it, I think.
No, I think in that scene
That's why I've always seen him with a mustache, so I didn't recognize him. He's always got that mustache or that weird like goatee thing or whatever.
There's cool, Fabio. Fabio's also there.
Fabio
for like a second.
There. I didn't know
he's in a shot. And Sam Jackson in one of Sam Jackson's early roles. He's there. He's got like a blink and you miss it cameo, and he's like, "Oh, the evil or death." Blah blah blah. That's Sam Jackson.
Is it really? I didn't catch that either.
You wouldn't notice by his voice because he's dubbed over. But
is it really?
Yeah.
I was gonna say that didn't sound like when I'm picturing it in my head. It didn't sound
that's
like
him
Sam
though.
Jackson. It didn't look like him.
You know who I'm talking about though, right? In that scene.
Yeah, I remember the guy saying that, but
yeah, that's Sam Jackson.
I guess I wasn't focused on him that much, so I didn't
I didn't notice it the first time I saw it either until I heard about it, and I was like, "What?"
Do you think another Exorcist movie would work in modern times?
I think an Exorcist movie can work. I think any movie can fucking work. I don't want sequels though. Just make a new Exorcism movie.
Just like its own story, its own thing.
Yeah, because like, what's the point of doing a sequel?
I don't know. If you have a good story, if you have a good story,
just make it a new thing. Like we're gonna bring back the characters from the other movies. Why? This isn't this isn't the type of movie. It's not like Jurassic Park where it's like, oh, I really want to revisit Jeff Goldblum's character and like what he's up to 40 years later. Like I like the characters in The Exorcist, but like their story's done.
Yeah.
Like we saw it. We don't need any more. Just make an original spooky Exorcist movie.
Is that why like you didn't like the second one as much? I'm guessing because it's like, okay, it feels like the little girl story is over. Like it's done.
Kind of, yeah, because they had a really convoluted way of like bringing her back, and she's like a grown up now, and all this. And it's just like I don't need any of this.
I'm curious. I don't want to watch the second one because you tell me how bad it is, but I'm curious on what it is though. Only because this one just feels so much like a part 2 already, the third one. But I'm curious of what the second one is. If
the second one
so much,
we might at some point have a separate video where we watch the second one because the second one is bizarre, but it's so boring. It's so fucking boring.
Anything else about Exorcist III though that we didn't mention, we didn't cover that I'm missing?
Not really. I think we kind of touched on everything.
I honestly expected it to be a bad sequel that you just liked, like kind of like Samurai Cop, where it's like a bad movie that you liked. But
that's fair.
I liked it. I enjoyed it actually. I did. Yeah, I just didn't like the ending.
I like Brad Dourif's performance as the Gemini killer. He's just over the top enough, but it's kind of spooky still.
Yeah. I think he's like a Sam Rockwell type. I feel like in my head. I don't know why.
What?
I don't know. It's just his performance.
I've never seen Sam Rockwell give a performance anywhere close to that.
Hey, Sam Rockwell can go crazy, man. I feel it.
Yeah, but he's not a creepy murderer guy.
He is in the freaking Green Mile.
That's a fair point. I always forget. He's in the Green Mile because he's not in it a whole lot. I always forget he's in that movie.